Hi, I'm Jody Fisher. I'm here at LA Music Academy with another quick tip. Today we're going to talk about something pretty hip. You've all heard this in jazz playing, I'm sure. This is quartal harmony. Now, if you've studied harmony before, you know that most chords that come from our Western music system are built from thirds, intervals of thirds. We stack thirds on top of each other to create all kinds of chords, and then we alter them to get all kinds of different sounds. But there's another whole system of harmony out there, and this is called quartal harmony. And these are chords that are built on fourths. Now, there are two kinds of fourths. There are pure fourths, meaning that every note we play, every interval is an exact perfect fourth, from C to F, for instance. Then there are also what we call diatonic fourths. And these are situations where we try to stay true to a key. And sometimes we'll adjust an interval to make sure it stays in the key. But today we're talking about pure fourths, or natural fourths. Now, these are chords that you can build to 3 notes, 4 notes, 5 notes. We're going to stick with 3-note chords for right now. So if we took a shape, take a look at this shape. This chord is based on fourths. This is a D, that's a G. That's the distance of a fourth. From G to C is a fourth. Okay? Now, this string set, meaning 3, 2, and 1, this is the shape for all fourth chords. You can move them around. Now, in the next string set, the shape looks like this. All right, now we have an A, a D, and a G. And then on the next string set, 5, 4, 3, the shape looks like this, and which is the same shape as 6, 5, and 4. Okay, so we've got, and I'm sure you've all heard things like, okay, and these are the kinds of chords used for those kinds of chord progressions. But how do you use them, and when can you use them? It's actually very simple. What we're going to do is apply them to minor chords where they work particularly well. So let's say we had a C minor 7 chord. Okay, so you know this chord, and you also know a C minor pentatonic scale, no doubt. And we know how well those two tools work. Okay, so what we're going to do, if you had a C minor 7 chord, you could take these quartal chord shapes and outline the shape of the pentatonic scale with them. In other words, would translate to, okay, so I'm taking each note of the pentatonic scale and applying one of those chords to each note. Okay, now what do you do with it? Well, the good news about this is that all of these chords within this pentatonic scale can be used to substitute for the C minor 7 chord itself. Okay, so if you had a progression that was a 1-chord vamp maybe, or a section of a song that's on 1 chord for a long time, and you're kind of sick of playing C minor all night, so you can see how good that sounds. It's a little more of a modern sound. You can also arpeggiate them. Get some solo ideas out of it as well. Okay? Now that's Quartal Harmony 101. Now for those of you out there that know a little bit about this already, let's beef it up a little bit. All of these chords can be inverted. Okay? Now they stop being fourth chords at that point, but they can be used in exactly the same way. So how do you invert these chords? Well, our first chord looked like this. So what I'm going to do is take that note, C, on top and drop it an octave. Gives me this. Okay, now it's the same 3 notes, but this is no longer a quartal chord anymore because this is from C to D is a major second. We still have our fourth here though, but it's really a major second and a perfect fourth. So it's not quite the same thing, but you can move it around the same way. Now, because the shapes will change from string set to string set, you have to play a little more horizontally this way. So your pentatonic ideas go that way instead. Okay, so that works, gives you more ammunition. Now we can invert it again. Let's take this shape and take that G and drop it an octave. And now we've got this. And once again, you can skate around horizontally on the fingerboard this way in pentatonic scales. And it's going to work. Okay, so we had this, this, and this. Now we're going to invert it again, and guess what happens? We're back to the original shape again. Okay, so you have a lot to do there. You can play fourth or any of their inversions. I'm sorry, I get caught up in my playing sometimes. And it brings you right up to 2011 and more modern sounds. So get into this. Remember, use them for minor chords. And I think your bandmates will be pretty impressed. And it'll open up their ideas for solos as well.